going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And today, I hope for all of our sakes, this is the last G4 TV video that will appear on this channel. I'm doing this video now just to kind of keep a history record of everything that's going on. I might be a little late on this information, but my goodness, it was the weekend. I live in Florida. It's freezing to death out here. Yeah, I don't care what anybody says. It's like 40-something degrees. I moved to Florida, so I will never have to see 40 degrees again, and yet I'm seeing it and I'm cold. So I didn't do anything this weekend but play games and stay in the covers. There's a great book on the alt-right. Here it is, folks. That details how Gamergate, there it is, Gamergate was the first practice run for the nebulous alt-right to deploy their harassment tactics. Our experience of these incidents are left over from their efforts. I mean, time and time again, we've seen people put out something that's like, wow, did you really say that? Did you really go there? And when it backfires in their face, what do? It's alt-right. It's white supremacists. It's this. It's that. You attack marginalized voices. You're attacking women. You're attacking this. It's always victim mentality. It's always victim mentality. You went on and on to talk about your audience and then tell them not to watch. You went on and on how you are not attractive enough and how, you know, pretty much saying that when I read an article, people get mad, but when a guy reads an article, they don't get mad. That's a load of crap.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of the Freedom Stream on Tuesday night. And tonight, my friends, we have a special guest coming in with us, the one and only, the most handsome man on the internet, Jay Drunk 3PO.
What's happening,
Welcome.
man? I just realized I'm literally wearing the exact same thing that I was wearing in that video, which was like a few days old, because I'm like you said, man, I'm in Florida, I'm in Orlando, and it's freaking cold here, man. I am freezing. So it's like I haven't taken this hoodie off. I haven't taken this hat off like in a few days because I'm cold. So, you know, I'm cold, man.
It is cold. I roll into the studio. I think somebody made a comment on one of my videos recently. I had the hoodie on. I had a beanie on. They're like, "Is it cold there, Frank?" I was like, "Yes, it is. It's Florida. If it drops below 60, it's freezing."
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like I actually was born in the Washington, D.C. area, and I moved to Florida, and I was like, I never want to see anything lower than 70. Like, that's just, I don't even want to turn the heat on ever. Like, that's why I'm here. So I know people will judge me. Every time I bring it up, they're like, you're in Florida and it's cold. I'm like, yeah, I'm cold. I know it's colder where you live. I'm pretty sure, but I'm cold. So, but thank you for having me here, brother. It's been, what an awesome, most people probably in your chat have no idea who I am. And, but I'm a huge fan, love the like both channels actually. And I really appreciate the invite. So thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get a little bit more into that with you in just a second. But let me go ahead and say a couple hellos out there. I saw Meme to left in the chat. Hello, Meme. What is going on, my friend? We need to link up. Hit me up, man. I sent you, I not texted you. I responded to your tweet the other day. So check me out, man. Hey, we got Rock Salt in here. We got Linda Hayes. We got Vic in the house. Remy Max. We have Care Bearer, and we also have the one and only Trace of Colorado, where she said it is freezing in Colorado, much colder than it is here in Florida. I bet. Hello, Pork Lamp. We got Frick Poo, Freeman Man. Hello, Keen James. I like you. How are you doing? We got Aaron Rainey in the house, and we got Denise, Ocean Breeze, Salty. Hello. Pork Lamp is in here. It's good to see everybody coming in. Don't forget to hit that like button on the way in. Goal is 300 likes for this live stream. I don't know if we'll get there, but I know you guys in the chat will make that happen. Don't forget to hit that share button too. If you share it on a social media platform such as Facebook or Twitter, Telegram, Gather, Gab, wherever you're at, share it out. Let's get some people in here. Let's have a great conversation because we have Jay here, and we're going to talk a lot about entertainment. We're going to talk about a lot about the politics crossover and the things that are currently happening within the entertainment section of our culture that is really moving things and really polarizing even the entertainment sector, where that was once a place where you could actually just kind of escape reality for a little bit, kind of like sports were, until politics and wokeness had been introduced. And we'll talk all about that. And it's great to have Jay. Jay, go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit here to the audience. Where are you from? What do you do? And what's your favorite theme park?
Well, my screen name is Drunk 3PO, and everyone's like, "Why the heck did you name?" So just to preface, that this started as a joke. Me and some friends got together several years ago. We did a little tiny podcast in front of like 2 people live, and we all had like ridiculous Star Wars names, and mine just happened to be Drunk 3PO. You know, and so I didn't think like I would be where I am today. We just thought we'd come together like once a week with friends from across America, and we just talk Star Wars for a few hours. It's just something fun to do. And for some reason, my YouTube channel kind of exploded. And or at least for me anyway, I didn't expect like, 50 subscribers, let alone 53,000, like that's pretty amazing. And then Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, long story short, reached out to me because he knows I live right next to Walt Disney World and all the theme parks there. So they have a theme park edition and a channel called Park Hoppin', which I'm very, very much, that's pretty much what I do at Geeks and Gamers. So I go to all the different theme parks and do reporting and things like that. It's kind of neat because some of the other news outlets, they link up with me to try to like work together and to find out like real stories, make sure like we call out all the bad, we call out all the good, and we try to be as balanced as possible over there. So it's it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. And my favorite theme park right now is Universal Studios. I love going to Universal Studios.
Yeah.
So
that is
it's
my
not
favorite.
that far, but I'm always there. So people bump into me all the time, because I'm there recording and stuff. So it's been amazing. Been an amazing ride.
Yeah,
So,
no, for sure. You do a lot of great stuff over there on your channel, and the things you talk about, the things you cover, and of course your collaborations you do with the Geeks and Gamers with the Park Hoppin'. I absolutely love the theme parks, especially Islands of Adventure. That's where I kind of like to hang out there, Islands of Adventure. And then, of course, the Mummy is our favorite ride over on the other side. Yeah.
It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. Yeah. That's not for everybody, but, it does have a big market. Shockingly, it has theme parks have like a huge fan base, where people just want to know all the information from like the cupcakes they're selling. It's crazy. So I didn't think it was like that big of a fan base until you kind of stepped into it, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, I didn't realize quite how many people actually go to do stuff like that, or even go to collect things. My wife and I were there, and people were selling out of the Disney 50-year bags or 75-year bags or whatever, their special edition bags, and they were selling out where you were only able to get like limited, like buy 1 or 2 at a time. And I was like, for a bag, they're like, yeah, they've been like hitting every store, and then they turn around, I guess, sell it on eBay or whatever.
Did you hear about the popcorn buckets that they just recently?
Kind of, but tell me the story because I only caught a part of it.
These Figment is a figment of your imagination dragon. It's a little purple dragon that's in the Epcot area of Disney, and they sold these limited edition popcorn buckets for $25. And it's like the first thing that Figment's been there like forever, and it's like the first, I guess, popcorn bucket thing that they've had for this dragon. So people lined up and waited up to 6 hours to get one. They were only allowed to buy 2. They sold out in 3 days, and they went and sold. They were selling on eBay for $800 to $1,000. I think the prices come down now on eBay to about $200, but the Disney collectors, man, I was just like, wow. So I was like, I need to go and just buy 2, and I'll just put it right on eBay, because if like I could get $1,000 for a $25 popcorn bucket, man. I'm like, that's what I'm doing. So, but I didn't get one. By the time I went, they were all sold out. But
Yeah. Now, my wife, she is the more the theme park junkie than I am. I go because that's something we do together, and I like to make her happy. So when she likes to go to like Disney or Universal, I'm her right hand man there. I'm her partner. We go and do those things, and they're fun. I have fun. I enjoy it. We did Universal Halloween Horror Nights this year for the first time in like 25 years.
oh wow,
I hadn't gone since I was like a teenager. And
wow.
I live in Florida. I live in Florida, so we do theme parks.
That's what I know. It's just what we do, man. It's just
what
what we do.
It's like the beach and theme parks. It's what you do in Florida.
Exactly. It's what we do. Being in Orlando is cool because I can go an hour to like the Tampa Beach or an hour to the Daytona Beach.
Yeah.
So
Daytona is way superior, though.
Yeah, I agree. I have to let you. I agree. It just depends what you're in the mood for. So
True.
Which ocean do you want? The Gulf of Mexico, or like so. It all depends. It all depends. But yeah.
We talk a lot about culture things here on the channel, and then occasionally we'll have a crossover of things of political crossover with entertainment, and over the course of the last, I want to say it's become more and more noticeable when we had the election of Donald Trump. Things like went into overdrive in the entertainment industry with actors and actresses coming out and posing with the severed head of Trump and F Trump and all that kind of stuff. It was like maddening. It was like all these people and a lot of these actors I would watch and kind of knew their political affiliation but they were really never like that crazy. So you could tolerate watching some of their movies. You're like, okay, yeah, it's the actor. I'm going to watch the actor and do their thing. And then all of a sudden they came out and were like, we hate you guys that voted for Trump. And I'm like, whoa. I don't know if I want to support these people work, but it started bleeding over into a lot of sectors of entertainment. And of course you cover a lot of that. And here recently, you guys have kind of, you guys over there in the, gaming and entertainment, you guys have, there has been a explosion with a G4 thing. I remember G4 when it first came out. I remember X-Play when it first came out. I actually used to watch it with a dude and what was her name? I can't remember the girl's name. Aaron?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I can't remember their name.
Morgan.
Either, yeah.
Morgan.
Oh yeah.
It was Morgan Webb. And I used to love it. And then they rebooted it from what I've been able to gather. And then they had this like whole thing where one of the hostess like had a meltdown and basically told the audience not to watch if they didn't like the strong independent women and all this other stuff. How's that been for you to be able to kind of dissect for in the entertainment section? I mean, because I know you love entertainment, you love Star Wars and things like that. How hard has it been to watch this stuff kind of come in on itself?
It's terrible. I wish I didn't have to talk about it. Put it that way. I wish, it got very, like you said, especially when you look at your heroes that you thought, let's just go back. You ever heard the term, like, don't ever meet your heroes in real life or people you look up to?
Yep.
That's what it was following Mark Hamill on Twitter. So I don't know if Mark Hamill played Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker was my dude in Star Wars. But then you follow Mark Hamill, on Twitter. And okay, Mark Hamill, he posts his political stuff. And it's like, all right, it wasn't too bad. But once Donald Trump got elected, he just went like nuclear to the point where he was posting almost naked pictures of the first lady. Saying, I don't know if you knew about all that. Like he was posting, that it just was. It was hard to watch. And I've always been of the mindset of, okay, I get, if you want to vote that way or you want to do this, that's fine. But when you turn into this like heavy hitting, look how bad these people are, constantly dragging people down, and anyone that follows certain political people, like you've really turned into somebody that you don't want to follow. it's almost like you turn. It's disgusting to see, actually, because I'm sure Mark Hamill has fans that voted for Donald Trump. I'm sure he has fans that that probably didn't even vote, or that lean this way or lean the other way.
Right.
And you just go off and you criticize a percentage of the country like that over and over and over and over again. And you just wonder, these people have such a platform, but also, do they think like it's their job because I have a platform to push this type of politics and stuff that I want to push and make sure everybody believes the way I believe, or is somebody telling them to do that? Or is there like a memo going out to all these Hollywood people saying, hey, we got to get something done here. Here's the memo. Everybody tweet the same thing, in the next few days. And so you just wonder if like that's going on. But it's really sad. It's really sad to see. The other thing is too, it's not. So now that Trump is out of office, now you're getting into like these celebrities, instead of putting out a product that we don't like, instead of saying, all right, well, we messed up, we should do better, they blame it on like white supremacists or like they're probably Trump lovers. It's like whatever. It's very bizarre. Like this is their excuse now. It's like, oh, they probably voted for Trump, that's why they hate this. And it's like that's the excuse. So
yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Baby Chewbacca coming with a $10 super chat says, hey, Frank and drunk 3PO, you must be C3PO's cool model.
Yeah, maybe. Like I said, if I knew this was going to get to this point, maybe I would have named myself something else. But it is what it is, and here we are, and here we are.
Yeah, and we love you for it, Jay. We really do.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
If you haven't followed Jay over on Twitter, he's amazing. And all the people that follow Jay are even more amazing because they come up with these pictures and these memes with Jay in them.
I don't know why that is. They just maybe because I'm a man that doesn't take things on Twitter so personal, where I start to scream and cry and feel offended, over memes. Like we got to this point now after the election where memes are bad on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's like, really? You can't take a meme? Like it offends you that much? Like a meme? Like, and now it's like Twitter's going to do something about these memes, like my original Twitter account was nuked by Twitter, had 25,000 followers on that Twitter. And it was deleted because I was posting stuff in favor of Gina Carano. I was like pro Gina Carano stuff, and they told me they were open about it. You can't post this, you can't post that, and we're gonna just get rid of your Twitter. And you're just like, wow, really?
Our good friend here, Dr. Insomnia, says drunk starts with doctor, which makes you Dr. Unk.
It is.
I wish people made memes of me. I have to make my own memes of myself sometimes. I'm like, oh, look at this. This is
Be careful
funny.
what you wish for, my friend. Be careful what you wish for.
Now the chat will go out and actually meme me, and it won't be funny.
I was in Vegas with we did a meetup with Gary from Nerdrotic and all the Geeks and Gamers and a bunch of others, and I fell asleep on a couch. And someone took my picture, and it was meme for a month. I mean, they took that photo and put it everywhere, on Star Wars posters, on news banners, and like every now and then it still shows up. But I was like,
I did retweet a couple of those because they were pretty.
I was mean to death. I was like, wow,
I don't know who's more mean more, you or Ryan, because they like memeing Ryan a lot too. Right there.
1 month it'll be Ryan, and the next it'll be me, and it's like, but again, it's like we're not offended by. It's like we're not offended by that stuff, but it just seems like there's a whole section of people on Twitter that are offended by anything and everything, and it's so bizarre. It's so bizarre, like the way they think and process stuff. And for whatever reason, the majority of the time they have pronouns in their bios and they have voted for Biden in their bios and all this
They're
stuff. And it's just like they're very sensitive on social media. So stay, don't upset them now or you'll be in trouble. So we're gonna make everything and look what they've done. Even on YouTube now, there's no dislike ratio because we don't want people to be upset. We don't want people to be upset. Next thing you know, the comment section will probably go anything to just kind of soften the blow for people, because they can't handle, whatever. So
and
that's where we are, man.
We talked a little bit about like the Mark Hamills of the entertainment world, but Gina Carano was on the polar opposite of that end, where she really wasn't per se very outspoken. She shared a couple memes here and there, but you kind of knew where before she even started doing it. I had no idea where she stood in the political spectrum. I just enjoyed watching her in The Mandalorian, which I actually did enjoy.
Yeah,
and I didn't realize how far left Pedro Pascal was, up until the point when I started following him on Twitter. I'm like, whoa, this dude is way out there, man. And then they sat there and they canceled Gina for way less than anybody else would have been canceled for. And I know you got opportunity to talk to her, interview her, and stuff like that, and get her thoughts about some of this stuff. But it's hard to find those good guys. I call them good guys, that people that just really kind of just lay low, because if they share their political beliefs, they'll automatically be canceled because they don't line up with the political beliefs of the other side.
Her situation was a huge eye opener for a lot of people. I think when Lucasfilm, what they did to this woman, what they did to her, it was bigger than what they expected. It was a lot bigger. They thought they could let her go, label her, and she would just kind of disappear. They didn't realize the kind of fan base that she has and that she was building, and the people that just loved her for who she was. You have people that are far left that worked on The Mandalorian have come out and said she was the most beautiful, wonderful woman I've ever worked with. She was always there for everyone. She was the sweetest person ever. They can't find a single person that worked with Gina to say anything negative about her. The pronoun police went after her and this is what happened. They were forcing her. They were like all over Twitter and social media, put pronouns in your bio. Put pronouns in your bio. They went to Pedro Pascal and did that. And he was like, yeah, no problem. And he did it. They left him alone. And she was just like, why are you trying to bully me to do something? And they were like, put it in your bio. It was like constant. Fire Gina Carano. She won't put pronouns in her bio over and over and over. So finally she put in beep, bop, boop. That's it. She put that in, and that just sent everybody that just sent everyone over that whatever you want to call it, triggered them, that sent them all over the edge. And they were relentless. They did not stop. It was fire Gina, fire Gina, fire Gina, fire Gina. And the stuff that she was and this is the disgusting thing. The stuff she was posting was mostly asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, why are we being forced to do this? Why are we being forced? What they never reported, and I did on my channel, and Ryan and Jeremy, all from Geeks and Gamers, what we did. Gina was like one of the first people out there saying, okay, look, if we got to wear masks, let's make sure the doctors and all have the best mask, and we'll make some from home that work. And she was posting all this stuff on her Twitter. Right. And yet they were calling her, anti-mask or anti-everything. They were calling her all those names. She was like, have you not seen what I've been like, you're only picking and choosing. And so it was a whole attack. Then when they let her go, letting them go, that's their decision. Fine. What really opened the eyes of so many was people from Lucasfilm. I mean, that work in Lucasfilm came out on their Twitter and tried to slander this girl with political posts, calling her yachts, the whole things you can't say on YouTube. some of the worst wording. And these were people that years ago I would have waited in line to get a picture with them because I love Star Wars. And when I saw that, I started collecting the screenshots and everything. And then all of a sudden, when we started talking about it, saying, look at these people treating this poor woman for asking questions. You know what I mean? Like asking questions. And so, she didn't know. It was such a shock to her. And then these people from Lucasfilm, what do? They delete all the oh, we never really said that. I was like, haha, we got the receipts, buddy. You did say that. And these are the same people preaching the whole, we got to respect women. Let's all respect women. Let's respect. And the same people that did a whole tirade about respecting women put a GIF on his Twitter of a man slapping a woman in the face saying, bye, girl, talking about Gina, knowing, number one, he doesn't have the male fortitude to slap Gina Carano of all people. You know what I mean? Like, because she's an MMA champion, MMA fighter. So they would never do that. So of course they hide behind their Twitter keyboards, and they just were relentless to try to damage her name so people wouldn't be upset at Lucasfilm letting her go. They just went on and on and on and on and on. And her stock rose and rose and rose and rose. And then Daily Wire picked her up, and I spent Christmas with her, and she is so happy, right? Because she's doing what she wants to do. She's creating what she calls art. She loves to create art and creating movies that she wants to create, and sitting in the director's seat. She always wanted to direct and do all those things, and they're giving her that opportunity, and she's so grateful. And to this day, she still won't say anything negative about those people. That's just who she is as a person. It's just who she is as a person. But how they treated her was very eye-opening about the whole system, because Pedro Pascal he went out and called Trump supporters, the German, all that.
Right.
I don't know what you say on YouTube, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
He called Trump supporters that. Gina didn't call anybody anything. And yet he's okay to stay and she's not. So it's, if that doesn't open the eyes of people, whether you voted for Trump or not, to show the kind of bias that we've been seeing in Hollywood and everything else, I mean, like, that alone should just open people's eyes to what's going on, on where if you tweet the right things about the right politics, then you're okay, no matter what. It's very you should be able to see that with very clear,
No, and no, you're absolutely right with that. And that, people like Gina Carano, continue to, try to go after people like her. I mean, Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt's another good example of somebody that just tries to be a stand-up guy. He shares his faith and stuff, and he gets attacked for it all the time on social media. And it's pretty disgusting. You can't even, it's okay to talk openly about, these other matters that may be near and dear to your heart. If you want to talk about pronouns, if you want to talk about, people's sexuality and all that stuff and be proud of it, that's okay. But if you want to come out and talk about, Christianity, Christ, and things like that, well, that has to
don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that, because you'll get a Bobson after you, kind of like what happens with Chris Pratt many times. And I'm surprised he still hasn't been canceled, but I think, he's just too much of a likable guy where people pay money to come see this guy because he's a good actor. He's funny. And overall, I think he's a pretty good guy.
He's making a lot of the right people a lot of money. So that they can overlook a lot of that stuff.
Baby Chewbacca said, Gina Carano shot first, and we love her for it. Thank you so much, Baby Chewbacca. And then we have Herculine here, says, to the haters, their words mean less than a blade of grass. Thomas A. Kempis. So, man, thank you for the super chat, by the way. Appreciate that. But, in the entertainment sector is just, filled with that. And we look at some of the, reboots of classic IPs in Hollywood, Ghostbusters, Jurassic Park, all these reboots that are happening with a lot of, I think Lord of the Rings is being rebooted by Amazon. I'm afraid to see what's going to happen to that, because I love Lord of the Rings. And they continue to, push or interject things that wouldn't even make sense into that. They just try to force it in to existing IPs. And I think it might have been Jeremy. He had said this one time in one of his videos. Is like they can't build their own, so they have to hijack these other IPs to push their agenda. If they just put out made a new character that was all the isses in it, it would probably fail. Nobody would go watch it. So in order to make sure that character gets, and they sit there and they replace, character swap or gender swap and all this other stuff, and it's just disappointing. I know that you mentioned Star Wars being a huge fan. I was excited when the rebooted Star Wars came out, the next saga.
Same.
Oh man, I was so hyped. I remember going to the theater, watching it, have the movie at home, was real excited. And then The Last Jedi came out. Yep. Oh my gosh. And I remember Jeremy, I don't know how many videos he made about The Last Jedi. It was a lot. I remember watching most of them. But
we all had a lot to say.
But I wanted to watch it for myself. I wanted to kind of, and I remember him saying, I'm not telling anybody to go boycott it, but I'm just telling people, this movie, it just completely just betrays the entire IP itself. And when I watched it, I was like, man, I didn't even watch the next one. I didn't watch the next one. What was it? The Last Jedi.
The Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker. Thank you. I didn't even watch that one. I'm like, now I was done with it after The Last Jedi with it. As a fan of those types of IPs, Jay, how do you feel about those types of things that are happening?
So this is interesting. A good friend of mine's in the chat. If he's still there, his name is Fatal J. And after The Last Jedi came out, many of us began to speak out upon it. And what the argument back to us were, well, then you must be a misogynist because you don't like Rey, or you might not. They kept using this term. These people don't like people of color. There he is. There's Fatal, and things like that. And basically, their whole argument was, at least from my perspective, was that it was just 40-year-old white guys complaining about a film, and everybody else was okay with it. Now, during that time, I found some amazing, I guess the best way to tell them is like they're black YouTubers. Fatal J's one, Abu Nas, Mark with a C, Callus, Demogeni. I found, and they have been, I went to visit them in New York. My best friends, they're considered family. And they're screaming from the mountaintops, hey, I ain't white, and I don't like this. But no one wanted to listen to them. And they're screaming to, like, it's like they were standing in a room filled with people that were saying, yeah, it's just 40-year-old white guys that don't like this film. And they're screaming and no one would hear them. So we put together a show and that we do once a week where they can, freely speak, speak out and say what they like and what they didn't like, and how these type of agendas that are being pushed in our entertainment, they're calling it out because they don't like it either. And it's not about like race, and it's not about this, and it's not about that. It's what these people are trying to push on a lot of us, and saying this is what they want. This is what this type of audience want. This is what people of color want. This is what they want. This is what the LGBTQ community want. This is what they want. So we're going to push this on. And the only people that are crying about it are just like the 40-year-old white guys. They kept saying that. Brie Larson said that. All these other people said that. They're the ones that are crying about it. So don't listen to them. We know what you want. But then here's this whole segment of people saying, we fit that demographic that you're saying wants this, and we don't want this. The biggest thing that happens in entertainment is representation. Right now, we're living in this time where it's like every gender, race, whatever needs to be represented as a character. So let's just swap all these things and make this person this and make this person that. So everyone has representation. And the guys on the show, they would always say this so beautifully. They were like, I love Luke Skywalker, but I never saw myself as Luke Skywalker, the white man, Luke Skywalker. I saw myself as the hero of the Star Wars film. And this is something that Hollywood doesn't understand. You know, it's like, this is something that they don't understand. They think I need to see someone that looks exactly like me to like the movie. And that's not it. You know, that's not it, Chief, at all. So it's crazy to see where we are, and to have these type of conversations about that over and over and over again. You know, about, well, you know, we need to represent you guys. We need to represent that group. We need to represent that group. And we need to represent that group. And then that way it'll be better. But then they wonder when they push these movies out like that nobody goes to see them. And then instead of taking a loss, instead of taking like an L, they blame everyone else. You know, they blame everyone else. Like, all right, for instance, Santa Inc. came out on HBO Max. Santa Inc. was a Seth Rogen, Sarah Silverman adventure, you know, of Santa Claus cursing and yelling, and where it shouldn't be an old white man be Santa Claus anymore. It should be a female elf. I think that's what it was. So the trailer came out and we watched it. And not just me, all my friends, everyone said, this is crap. Like, this sucks. Like, who wants to watch this? This is dumb. And then Seth Rogen comes out on Twitter and says, the only people that don't like this are white supremacists, so everybody enjoy. It's like, really?
Yeah.
You can't go out and be a man and say, all right, well, we thought it was funny. We're sorry you didn't like it. We'll try better next time. No, they go out. If you didn't like this, you're a white supremacist. And they're so open about it on Twitter. You're just like, did you really say that? Yeah, I did. Because you probably are. And it's like, this is where we are. It's like, this is where we are today. It's insanity, man. It's like insanity. So,
Baby Chewbacca says Princess Leia was the first ever badass princess who gets it done that I ever witnessed do it.
Oh man, that's the thing. It's like, we need female representation. There's been badass women in movies for years. Did they not see Aliens? Did they not see Sigourney Weaver? Yeah, Princess Leia was another one. I mean, I don't know why they get to a certain point and say, yeah, there was never one in the past. We need one today.
Right. I interviewed a comic creator a while back over the summer. His brand is Chepo Team, and he talked about, you know, the whole thing where comic book creators are like, oh, we have to get somebody to represent so and so they can see themselves in comics. And he's like, man, I grew up loving Wolverine, and this guy he lived in Central America. He's like, I grew up loving Wolverine. I didn't want him to be like me. I wanted to be like him because he was Wolverine. He was the guy with the claws, and he was just a badass when he went on the comics, and I identified with him, but not because of my skin color. That had nothing to do with it. It's just because he was a cool character. And he's like, and now they're trying to turn, he said, what did he say? He's like, before you know it, they're going to make Wolverine gay with Cyclops, and they're going to ignore Jean Grey now. And he's right. And that's what's happening with comic books these days. We see it with...
Don't even get me started with comic books. Superman, they killed off Superman, or he's about to die, and his son is now the new Superman, Jonathan Kent, and he's come out as bisexual. He flies around in the comic books wearing a mask because, Superman's got to wear a mask because he doesn't want to catch the coof, and so even though he probably will never catch it because he's Superman. And, the second issue of the comic book, he went out to protest climate change. And so then the numbers came out about the comic book, and it's like the worst selling ever because nobody wants that crap. Like, nobody wants it. It's like, but yeah, you do want it. We're trying to be progressive. We're trying to be, isn't that what you guys want? No, we're not going to buy it. And you wonder why it tanks. And then instead of saying, yeah, we messed up, maybe we'll go back to, they blame it on everything else. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. No,
it is. It's absolutely crazy. And I think they would just get a little bit more credibility if they just came out and actually admitted what it was. It was a failure, because it didn't resonate with the audience. The audience rejected it because it wasn't genuine, or it was just something that we're trying to shoehorn in or force on people instead of actually cultivating this a new IP or cultivating a new character that people could probably identify with. They go through that hero's journey struggle, not just coming in on the scene, I'm great at everything type of thing, and it doesn't have to show any type of struggle. There's no sacrifice done. These are the characters. You can look at Luke Skywalker's. There was a hero's journey's arc. You can look at the rise and fall of Anakin in that arc. People were invested because there was sacrifice, there was loss, there was investment in that character because they were put through trials of stuff where the audience was invested, and then they unload a character that is just good at everything, doesn't suffer any of those things. And that was a lot of criticism with a lot of the Marvel Spider-Man, the MCU Spider-Man was very kid gloves and stuff. There was no loss until this last one where they actually took it into a new direction where Peter actually had to suffer loss and had to overcome these types of emotions. And it felt like an actual Spider-Man movie that you would have seen from Sony in the past with Andrew Garfield or even Tobey Maguire.
Well, everyone's asking what I'm eating. I'm eating blueberries. So it's like I'm almost done with them, everyone in the chat, so you don't have to worry.
Are they Publix blueberries?
No, it's is it what? Publix? Yeah. Yeah.
There we go. That's my man.
Of course. Nothing.
That's my man.
Nothing better. But no, we are living in this entertainment time where it's easy for them to tear down stabilized characters to try to build up their new ones, such as you bring up Star Wars. They had Star Wars, Disney bought Star Wars, they have their new character, they have Rey, Finn, Poe, all that stuff. What they did to make Rey, what they think they did to make Rey so powerful was tear down Luke Skywalker, the hero that we all know, that we all wanted to see as a Jedi Master, that we all wanted, they tore him down to lift Rey up. It's lazy writing, it's quick writing, it's this, and you see that over and over, just like Superman in the comics. Let's tear down the original Superman that we love. Just get him out of there, all right? Truth, justice, and the American way. Get him out of there. Get him out. Let's bring in a new character, his son, same powers, but let's make him an activist. Let's just do that. So they could either brainwash our kids or whatever it is they think they need to do. The good thing is that all this woke stuff isn't selling. So that, number one, it just proves that audiences, no matter how much they cry about it on social media, they don't want it. They don't want it. They don't want to watch it. I mean, you see our entertainment now. Netflix just took a massive hit, and people just are tired of all this new stuff that they just don't like. Netflix lost like 75 million subscribers, took a massive hit.
Wow.
And Disney Plus, they came out and they were just like, their subscriber stuff has stalled out. Nobody wants that stuff anymore, and it's not like everything they're putting out is woke or politically motivated, but a lot of it recently has been just so people watch entertainment or read books to escape for whatever reason. Things ain't going good at home. Let me go to the movies for a few hours just to kind of decompress from everything that's going on. I don't want to see about politics, man. I don't want to be preached at. I want to go on an adventure, or I want to go on a love story, or I want to laugh. Let me laugh. I mean, comedians can't even tell jokes. You see what they're doing to Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
He comes out and says anything about the trans community, and they're just like, cancel, protest. I want his, these people, the demands that the trans community wanted from Netflix were take his picture down in any hallway or on anything, take the special down, never hire him again. We're going to come after any place that hires him, any place that sells his tickets where he does his show, stuff like that. And he's not really like a Republican. He's pretty much, was like out there for Hillary and all that stuff.
Yep.
And yet it doesn't matter to them because they have this agenda. We're going to do this. They protested Netflix. They did all this stuff. Kudos to Netflix saying, nah, we're good. It's like, we're not going to let it go. What's happening to Dave Chappelle now that all that happened? He's selling out everywhere. Like everywhere. Like packed arenas because they're just like, no, man, we're tired of this crap. We're tired of this crap. And they're trying to cancel him. I'm going to go to the show. Normal, and they were interviewing people. There's just like people that normally wouldn't go, like, no, I'm going to go to the show because what they're doing is ridiculous.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. And so those types of victories are good to see. You know, it's good to see like that the majority of people are tired of what's happening and they're rejecting. You brought up Spider-Man. Spider-Man was the movie we wanted.
Yes, it was.
You know, they brought in the old character. They were very smart. There wasn't any like woke politics in this stuff. They tried to, you know, they did some jokes for the millennials and everything like that. Even for the old guards that loved Toby and like Andrew and all that stuff. They did it perfectly so that you could love all these different scenes. And at the very end, they all came together and did their thing. Some of the Marvel movies before that wasn't like that, and that's why they were rejected, you know, and like people were just like, yeah, I'm not watching that. So imagine that they gave us a movie that we wanted to see and people went to see it. Imagine that. What an easy concept.
Yeah,
you know, it's like
what was movie came out right before, not right before, but a little bit before that was The Eternals, and it was widely rejected by the fan base. They didn't go out and see it and didn't do very well in the box office, and they had to move it over to streaming. But that didn't happen with Spider-Man. People went to the movies to go watch it.
They promoted the Eternals' first gay superhero and or gay kiss and stuff like that. It's like, why would I want to go spend my money because you're saying, hey guys, come see the first gay kiss? Now, here's the thing. There was a first gay kiss in The Rise of Skywalker. So the first gay kiss, whatever they want to call it, whatever they call it's fine. The beautiful thing is, let me just preface this. We live in America. If you want to make a movie about gay people falling in love, man, go for it. Like, this is America. That's why we're here. Go write your stories. And if people want to support it, they will. But they put that gay kiss in The Rise of Skywalker at the end and this is the only reason why, you know, they did it for brownie points.
Yes.
Because when they showed that movie overseas, they cut that part out. If they really cared about progression and changing and doing all that stuff, they wouldn't have cut it out. But they cut it out of the film so it could be shown and make that money overseas.
Yep.
So, but if they really cared about the rights, if they really cared about moving that movement forward, if they really cared about all that stuff, they would have left it in. But obviously they didn't. And look what they did with Finn, Boyega.
Yeah.
When the movie went to China, they shrunk his picture way down to the size of a thumb because they know like the China market doesn't really like black actors.
Yep.
So they're like, but if they really cared about all the stuff they're preaching, if they really cared about it, then they would like, no, man, we care about the movement. We're here. We're there. We're this. It's a bunch of crap. It's a bunch of crap. Now, if they didn't do that to the movie posters and stuff, I'd have a little different conversation, but they did.
Yeah.
And even John Boyega came out and was just like, come on, man. Like, really? Like, really? Like, you said that you care about equality and representation and all that, but yeah, when it comes to the China money, you take the black guy and you shrink him down into like, so he's not really seen. It's like,
you know what he really became for the new Star Wars was almost like that token black guy that they had in their movie. Because I was really hopeful that they were going to do something. His whole story started off pretty interesting. I was like, oh man, ex-stormtrooper, you know, he woke up, you know, found, you know, the things had just hit him. He's like, I'm out. I'm going to go on my own adventure. I was like, oh man, something great's going to happen with this character. And then they paired him off with Rose.
He was my guy, man.
Rose Tico. They sent it off to that adventure that didn't produce anything. It was just a waste of time. And then they steal his moment of redemption where he was going to save the day, and Rose crashes into him. So he can't, you know, because at that point they didn't know Luke Skywalker was going to show up and do their thing. So he was actually going to do something heroic, and they stole that away from him.
You know, you could take Finn and Rose completely out of The Last Jedi, and it doesn't change anything of that film.
No, not at all.
Nothing. You could take every one of their scenes out of the film, and it doesn't change how the story ends. Like, they changed nothing. Absolutely nothing. When you look at the creativeness of George Lucas, he did his best. Let's look at the original trilogy. that every one of the so-called main characters had a vital role. I mean, look at my name, C-3PO, in the Return of the Jedi. If he wasn't worshipped like a deity in front of the Ewoks, they wouldn't have the Ewok army. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like he made sure, like he wanted to make sure that everyone had a pivotal role that progressed the story that he was trying to tell. Now, the problem with Hollywood now is there's no creativeness anymore. It's all run by corporation.
Yeah.
So they go to the corporations. They're like, I just want to make money. I don't care. I don't care about the story. I don't care who's in it. What's going to make money? Okay, well, this actor's trending. Let's just do that one. All right, let's just redo this because this still has a fan base and we could probably sell toys. All right, check mark this. All right, let's just throw it together. Here's a small budget. We don't care about who writes it. Let's just go. And that's just that's just what we're doing. And we see it with like some of the garbage that comes out. You know, it's just like you said, it's just it's microwaved movies now. It's like, let's take out, all right, let's take this out. You know, and you get nervous, you know, you're like, oh my God, they're gonna do this remake. And at first you were like, oh, cool, that'll be cool. But now we're like, it's like, nah, that ain't cool.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it.
Stay away from that.
I have a teenage son. He's 14. And you know, he just loves, you know, we do stuff all together all the time. And I said, son, I said, what you got to do, I said, we got to sit down. We try to do this once a weekend. Is on Saturday we'll try to watch like an old movie, something from the 80s or something from maybe the 90s or even some from the 70s. And you know, they're like real explosions. He's like, that's not green screen, Dad. I said, no, that's not green screen, son. That's actual
practical effects.
Effects. He's like, that's awesome. He's like, why don't they do that more of that today? I was like,
costs too much.
I don't know, man. It probably costs too much.
It's easier to like just film on a green screen. Yeah. Just add it in later.
And he's like, man, he's like, when he say, you guys had it made, you guys had some great movies, Dad.
It is. I mean, if you look up, just take one of the years of the 80s. Like, I think it was like 85. It was like Back to the Future, The Goonies. One of the Indiana Jones films was in there. Yeah. There was like Star Wars is kind of mixed in. I mean, it's just like so many different style of movies for everyone. I do think the superhero genre might be overdone.
Yeah.
Because now it's like superhero movies make money, so let's just keep pushing those out. And what we saw with Marvel for those 13 years, from Iron Man to Thanos, was actually really cool. Whether you like them or not, at least they stuck with the program.
And they told
for 13 years. I don't think we'll ever see anything like that ever again, where they kept the same actors, the same story. They were like point A to point B. They stood on one point and went to the finish. But now like everybody's seeing like superhero movies, man. They make billions of dollars. That's what I'm saying. It's run by corporation, not creativity. And so that's the problem. That's the big problem. It's all check mark now. Like, let's have this, make sure this. All right, we don't want to upset anybody. You know, put a gay guy in, put a black guy in, put this in, put that in. All right, we're good. Now go film. Let's just make money. I don't care about anything else.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you're right about that. That's what, you know, that's the generic stuff you kind of get out of Hollywood these days. And it's not very entertaining any longer. It's not very, you know, audiences don't want to become invested in the products they're putting out because it just doesn't resonate with people, especially when they you know, reboot the IPs, the older IPs. You know, they have that already built-in fan base, and they, you know, like you said, they're like, okay, you know, what's going to make us the most money? Oh, this has some fans, and you know, we're going to sell some toys with this, and let's reboot it, or soft reboot, or a re-sequel. You know, they're you know, stuff like that, and they draw in those audiences, and they get mad at them when they criticize, you know, the story because it didn't live up to expectations, or they completely destroyed the worlds that they belong in. You know what I mean? And it's wrong. That's why I fear for the Lord of the Rings coming to Amazon and what they're going to do to that, because, you know, I wasn't a big fan of The Hobbit. My wife loves The Hobbit. That's her favorite series of the three of the two. But mine, I'm always the Lord of the Rings there. And I'm afraid what they're going to do with it. And, you know, and again, you know, kind of like you said with a superhero movie, overarching arc of, you know, starting point A to point B with like Marvel with Iron Man to Thanos.
Very easy now. You
Yeah.
just flip through the book and pick a superhero, and you could, make a film. But I mean, look at I do consider there are a few films out there that I would consider a perfect movie, and I do consider Jaws a perfect film. That's an oldie but a goodie.
Yes. I love
You
Jaws.
had 3 actors and special, but when you understand the making of Jaws, it's like one of Spielberg's very first, he had a vision how to make the movie, and his mechanical shark wasn't working. So he had to use his creative mind to recreate the shark without the shark. And it's very interesting to see like how creative that he had to be to get the movie that we got out of Jaws. And it made me appreciate the movie even more, because half the scenes that he was supposed to have this mechanical shark, he didn't have it, but he was on a budget, he was on this, and so they had to sit down and be like, how do we figure this out? Today they don't have to do that anymore, because it's like you said, it's green screen, and it's just, here you go, that's it. Give him a bad guy, the bad guy beats him up, and then he beats him up at the end of movie. And so there's no creativity, and it's like, well, we want to add more explosions. We'll do it in the computer. We need to add this. We'll do it over there.
Yeah.
We can add it. We can add it later. No big deal. And so the art of making films it's become very lazy, from the writing down to shooting and everything else. And then so what I think we'll see is, because of the technology that we have today, I do believe we're going to start seeing independent filmmakers begin to create stuff again that is going to be like, well, that was really good. There's a fan film out called Bucketheads, and it's a Star Wars fan film about a bunch of guys from Canada that put together a film about stormtroopers. And when you watch it and you're just like, that's fan made, that is amazing. Like that, it is so well done. Like I watched it live. I watched it on my live stream, and the creators reached out to me, and they were just like, hey, can we use some of those clips, man? Because it was really because I brought some friends on. I was like, watch this, and they were blown away by how incredible. And so I think we might get to this point where, because you can film now 4K, from your cell phone. It's and have high quality, mics and everything like that. And so I think we're going to get back, like we're seeing with comic book creators, things like that, storytellers. People are like, all right, I'm done. They want to put a mask on Superman. Like, we're going to do our own thing. I'm tired of complaining about it. I have an idea for a story. We're going to go do it. And that's that. So I think we're starting to see, we're on an interesting time where we're going to start to see more and more content creators rise up and do. And that's what Gina's doing. That's what I just had an actor, Matthew Marsden, on my podcast. He was in Black Hawk Down. He played Schoolboy in Rambo. He was in Helen of Troy. He was in a lot of films. He's tired of all the Hollywood bull crap. If you follow him on Twitter, he calls out these actors and actresses all the time. And he's just like, not all Hollywood's like this. These people, but he realizes now by calling them out that he's probably no longer hired. So he's like, you know what? I don't want to work for this anyway. I'm going to do my own thing. He did his own film. He released it on Amazon. It's called I Am That Man. And, once it gets a little more attention, he wants to do other things. And it's like, I just think we're going to start seeing that, more and more, because what's happening in Hollywood is like people are not going to watch, and the independent creator is going to rise up. So it'll be interesting to see. We'll see what happens. So
yeah, as we move into the last segment, I definitely want to go ahead and get some of your thoughts on the theme park industry right now, where they are. I know you did a video recently talking about the price increases in some of the theme parks, and the return of investment for the park goer is not matching up to the price that they're asking for now. I mean, they're not getting that same experience, yet they still have to pay a higher price. What's your thoughts on the theme park industry as a whole right now?
Well, over the holiday season, from probably after Thanksgiving Till about the first week of January, every single theme park here in Orlando was jam packed. All the hotels were booked up. Everything was packed. The issue was people. So basically, what happened, I believe, and I don't speak to anyone individually, just a few people were cooped up because of lockdowns and things like that. And being in Florida, we're a
Yep.
little more freer than most states.
Don't tread on Florida, baby.
Yeah, like we had a lot of freedom early on too.
Yeah.
And our governor was just like, no, we're not going to do it this way. We're going to do it this way, and we're not going to like lock anybody in there again, and not going to do it anyway. So we know all that. So I believe a lot of people saved their pennies and traveled to Florida because over Christmas we saw the biggest boom of tourists in a long time, in like 2 years. But what happened was, as people were leaving, these travel agents and stuff began to speak out and just saying, most of my clients are not going to go back to Disney in 2022 because their price, like, it's $160 for a single day ticket now. That's insane.
Insane. Yeah, absolutely.
It's so high, it's so much, and all the perks that Disney used to offer, they took away. Now, for someone like me that covers it, gets paid to go, it's a little different. And when you live next door with an annual pass, like, they're not really making, they made money off me on the original annual pass, but other than that, is like, most of the time I don't buy food in there. I could just, I don't pay for parking. I just pull up, do my job, and I go home, maybe ride a couple rides and go home. But Disney has just really cranked it up. And an article came out in Reader's Digest, so it was very interesting. It kind of snuck under the radar. But they said that in a meeting, Disney was very clear that they want to cater to the top 10%. And so they're going to do so by raising their prices, because they think that if whatever you want to call them, the richer people of America or around the world come to their parks and there's less people, they'll spend more money in the parks and they'll make more money. Now, I could see where on paper that theory might work, but people are going to wise up. Like, even people with a lot of money, they don't want to buy crap.
Right.
Like right now they have a Star Wars hotel they're getting ready to open. Okay. And it's a 2-night minimum experience. And what they're charging for 2 nights for 2 people is around $6,000.
Shut up. No, it's not. $6,000.
6,000 after taxes and everything, like about $6,000. That's, and you're just like, what? And they're like, well, you get an inclusive dinner show with Star Wars people. What Star Wars people? Rey and Kylo Ren. And you're like, no Chewbacca, no Luke, no Darth Vader. No, none of that stuff. Just the Disney characters. And it's like, well, what am I going to do for $6,000? We're going to take you to Galaxy's Edge for a day. Well, I could spend $100 and go there during the day. Like, I don't have to spend $6,000. I could go to another hotel. And they're just like, yeah, but it's like, it's cool. It's different. How is it different? And it's like, well, am I going to get some exotic food for that? You're going to get like the theme park food. And I'm like, you kidding me? For $6? And so a lot of people are just like, that's insanity. Like, how that cannot last like that. There's no way that's going to last. And so it's like, maybe you'll cater to so many people for so long, but how can you keep that up? But yeah, they think they are. So it's just, it's crazy that they want to, charge so much for that experience without even like the bit. Now, if you gave me a $6,000 perk where I feel like, yeah, well, that's probably worth $6,000. Okay, I get what you're saying. But when you look at what you're getting, you're like, that's maybe worth $400 a night, maybe. I mean, you could travel to another country and live like a king for a week for $6,000. If you really, it's crazy. Universal Studios and everyone else has really taken advantage of people complaining about the Disney theme parks and have stepped up. And Universal Studios set records. They were actually the most visited theme park over Christmas, even though, like I said, they were all packed. But more people were going over there because they took advantage of people, And if you follow Universal Studios Twitter, Frank, you will laugh every day. They're always throwing shade at the Disney theme parks, and it's all in fun,
Yeah.
like all in fun. But
I
it's funny, it's funny.
I mentioned at the very beginning, I prefer to go to the Universal parks more so than the Disney parks, just because of their for whatever reason, like you mentioned, they just seem to get it. Even their fast pass system is much better than Disney's fast pass system.
Yeah,
And the things that they offer, and just the ride experiences are much better. The roller coasters are much better than some of the newer roller coaster stuff that Disney has put out there. If you compare, rides that have been being put out recently, you got the Velociraptor Raptor ride, the Harry Potter, some of the Harry Potter roller coasters, the Hagrid's ride, and compare those to some of the ones that were released around the same time. If you look at Disney's, Epcot, you had the Ratatouille thing, and then you had a Toy Story add-on, and the Slink Dog ride, I think it was, or whatever. And you compare those two, I mean, the better experience is surely
yeah.
Universal.
That's the thing. See, Disney's riding on the fact that they've been there forever, and it's like they did such a great job early on, where it's like, I want to go to Disney. It's just kind of like a thing. Like, hey, where do y'all want to go? You want to go to somewhere? Yeah, let's go to Disney. It became a thing for people to say, like, yeah, let's go. The Magic Kingdom is the most photographed icon in all of America. It's been like that for like 20, 25 plus years. There's more pictures taken in front of that castle than anywhere else in America. And so they did such a good job, but now they're starting to price out the middle class. Forget the lower class economy, but if you're middle class, it's like you can't afford to go. And it's just insane. But these are the same people that wanted Newsom in office in California.
Yep.
These are the same people that had put a lot of money, and it doesn't make sense to me. They put a lot. So think about this. They wanted Newsom to win in California while Newsom kept their theme parks closed. They came out and said, we're really disappointed in our governor, really, because they wouldn't open the theme parks. Disney then sends like thousands of workers, like they moved an entire office to Florida, yet they don't want to support the legislation that made it possible for them to move and open their offices. Gavin Newsom took like 2 weeks off California while he's telling everyone in California, stay in your home. That whole California was a mess. It still is.
Still is.
He came to Florida with his staff and a whole bunch of other people, and they spent 2 weeks on Disney's dime enjoying the theme parks, walking through the theme parks, no mask, all that stuff. While he back home, he's just like, oh no, shame on you. Like, we're going to do this. Hypocrisy at its finest.
Yeah.
When they questioned him, he was like, well, I just want to, and when they questioned him, he's like, I just wanted to see how they're doing it before, we open it here in California. I just wanted to make sure they were safe. It's like, no, man, it's the same thing that why Don Lemon's partying in Florida, that AOC is partying in Florida, yet they go in front of everyone saying, that governor in Florida is like killing everybody. It's like, well, it's crazy. It's absolutely insanity. The hypocrisy is beyond. You didn't see our governor going to California and hanging out. He was working, taking care of stuff, making sure, what he felt was right. And for these insane people to criticize Florida so harshly, yet show up with drinks in their hand, no mask on, laying in the beach, just having a good old time. It's like, I don't know why this doesn't open the eyes of more people. It's insanity.
Yeah.
It's insanity. So
it is, and it's you point to the hypocrisy. You say, hey, look at these guys, and they're from your area, and they want you to stay all locked down, but they're all down here partying it up nice. And why they go and back, and they'll say, oh no, they're doing a horrible job, like you said.
Terrible. It's
like the people in their own areas, like, you don't see the hypocrisy in that, and I and that's why I tell people when they what's going to end up saving this areas like this, it's just continued to make, these areas more and more balkanizing our areas that we live in, making, Florida continue to be able to have these policies that we have. And as people are moving in, say, hey, don't be coming down here to vote for the same stuff you're running away from. You're coming down here for a reason because you wanted to escape that. Help us continue that trend here. And
well, I want to close on last thing about Florida. Or me personally, I spent so many years overseas and stuff. I never liked politics. I hated it. Right. All I saw in my mind was just fighting. And it's just like kings come and go, presidents come and go, policies come and go. I never was really into it. But what opened my eyes, my grandmother passed away last year. It wasn't from COVID. She was 96. She was my hero.
Yeah.
She was awesome. Every year for my entire life, we spent Christmas and New Year's at my grandmother's house. No matter where we lived in the world, we always came back to spend Christmas at grandma's house. When this whole thing hit, she was taken from her home and placed in a man, what do you call it? Senior living establishment, whatever you want to call it. And it was a nice place. She had a condo and everything like that because we wanted to make sure she was taken care of. She was a lot older and things like that. No problem. Fine. She caught it. She passed it. Fine. Then a month later, she got kidney failure and she passed away. Now, she died in the state of Virginia.
Okay.
Me and my brother live in Florida. When the funeral happened, there was a Virginia law that only 6 people could gather at the funeral. So me and my brother were unable to go to my grandmother's funeral. And that was the moment, that was the biggest moment for me to go, okay, this should never happen to another person ever. You should be able to, it's outside. I mean, my goodness. And we just kind of, and I think our governor just passed a law saying that especially for funerals, everyone can go. I think he just passed a law, something about that. And that was huge. To me, that was huge because I was just unable to do that, to mourn, and everything is part of human, nature is to mourn your loved ones and be there with family and all that stuff. And not to be able to go because a politician said, yeah, you can't go. To give them that much power, it really, it shook me. It was like, okay, I really need to take this a little more seriously than I thought before, because this is a serious war against family now too. This is an attack on family. If you look now, they just had an election in Virginia. That governor is gone, and they put in a new governor who on day one, mandates gone, this gone. They put in a Republican governor, and he's just like, boom, boom, boom. This will never happen here again. You will be able to do this. And it's just like, okay, see, people are starting to wake up and see that what was happening is just so wrong.
Yeah.
Of what they're doing to people, and this is beyond entertainment. This is beyond all that stuff. It's like, this is about family now, right? This is about family. And now you're trying to separate families and loved ones and keep them locked in their home. It's like, wow, when did we get to that point in America? You know what I mean? When, and it's here, and it's like, it's crazy. So
no, you're absolutely right about that. And growing, being a young adult, and I rarely ever had talked politics until I started dabbling in politics. As you see things in the news, and you're like, that doesn't quite make sense. That doesn't add up with this that I'm seeing that's happening over here. And then, things just accelerated after 2016. And that's when I kind of said, I think I'm going to start, talking out about this stuff. And, I started a YouTube channel to do that. But uh, even before that, I was able to still have conversations with people and not, sit there and drag politics into any of it and
Yeah,
just have a normal conversation. But today I see people having conversations where they want to drag in politics right away. And it's like, we weren't even talking about that.
I
There's so
know.
much more to me than just politics. There's so much more to me than my political affiliation. As I talk about this a lot on the channel. I'm a Christian first and foremost. That's first. Then second, I'm a husband. I'm a father. And all these other lists before I even get down to my political whatever. That's way down the list. Yeah, I talk about it a lot, but that's not what I am.
It's that's the world we live in. But I am happy to see it starting to change, or whatever the cracks are showing. And someone in the chat said, with all respect, you could still mourn those that lost. Absolutely, I agree. I totally agree. I just was for someone that was so important in my life, being told
You couldn't do it.
that, hey, it's probably best you stay where you are, and
Yeah,
there's going
that's
to be
just wrong.
this and there's going to be that, and my parents, they're just like, it just was so much. And it's just like, wow, are we really having this conversation?
Yeah.
Are we really having this conversation? And yeah, we are. And it's real life, and it's affecting real people, and it's infested everything, our entertainment, our families, our way of life, the things we watch on television. It has just so infected everything. It's like they hated Donald Trump so much that now they wanted to invest and control and put everything in there, where they just don't want to lose, that power, or whatever they want to call it. And so, it's a real it's just a real fight for a lot of things. Like I said, it's more than entertainment. There's bigger problems in the world than a movie. A lot of bigger problems in the world than our movies. If they all suck, we just stop watching. We got plenty of
Yep.
stuff in the 80s, like you say, we could watch again, and go back and relive that. But when you start affecting our families and places of worship and stuff like that, people really need to open up and see, what's really going on here. So
No, for sure. And as we're wrapping up, Jay, I just want to give you a minute or two so they can go find where you put out your content, and of course, if
sure.
you do any type of live streaming, and just for the everybody in the audience, if you want to go find any of his links, I've listed them everywhere. Jay is. I
Oh,
listed that link
appreciate
in
that.
the description, so you guys can go follow that. Just follow the description. Everything. I think there's like 5 links in there for you guys to go check out. But Jay,
Yeah, it's a lot.
I'm going to give you the floor for a minute so you can kind of talk to the audience about where they can find you, what you do, and take it away.
Appreciate it. Well, my main channel is Drunk 3PO. I record the Welcome to the Rebellion podcast on that channel, where I try to have as different type of guests that basically have that teach us how they rebelled against their fears and that are now working in their passion. It's a big thing for me to hear those stories and get those out there to inspire others. I also have another channel called Jaywalking the Planet, which is in there, where it's a lot of traveling. A lot of people don't realize, but I spent 15 plus years all over the world building orphanages and the different projects. And so we put a lot of those travel videos and stuff on that channel as well. I don't know, like at the end of the day, I just want people to be inspired to get out of their comfort zone and just go and do what their passion and something that they love, or something that they've been holding back on, and just get out there and do it. So those channels are there, hopefully to inspire you, or to see that the world isn't so bad, that it's actually a beautiful place to see, if you see it, if you open your eyes and see it, and kind of brush off some of the nonsense that floods our airwaves right now. So those are the best places you could find me at, and that's it really. That's it
Well,
really. I work with Nine Line Apparel. They had this whole rebellion gear and stuff like that, and we raised a lot of money for veterans. We were able to build a bunch of transitional homes for veterans through Nine Line Apparel and selling shirts and stuff like that. So, it was it's just doing a lot of cool things. Last year on the Drunk 3PO channel, we raised almost $70,000 alone for different organizations within America and outside. Did a lot of money to help end human trafficking. We use a lot of the membership money and Patreon money that I make over there for that. So it's pretty cool. This coming year, we're building a special needs home in Mexico. So that's kind of be our focus this year
That's
as
awesome.
well. So yeah, it's just
Yeah.
just trying to give back. Like, you got one life, and to make an impact, and you can make an impact on somebody that will affect not only them but the entire generation. So, you know,
Yeah. No.
don't waste your life. Like, don't sit around and waste your life. Get it done. You
Yeah.
have a purpose. You got a plan. You got something
I,
inside of you.
I like that. You do have a purpose. And, I mentioned that quite often, talking about,
Hmm.
the moment that we're living in right now has been given it to us. We're not here by mistake. We're here for a reason, in this moment that we're in. And as I like to pitch, after every freedom stream here on the channel, we end out the evening over on Uniquely Us for a evening prayer meeting. So everybody that wants to head over there, I do that about 10:45. We're about 15 minutes out from there. Gives me time to go to the bathroom. 10:45. If you guys want to come over there and join me, I'll be doing a little prayer meeting. We'll do a little bit of scripture reading, a little bit of praying, and to end the evening, and to really kind of uh, ask for that nice rest that we need. So if you want to come over, that'll be over on my second channel, Uniquely Us. Starting at 10:45. I know DM has already shared a couple links over there in the chat already of Drunk 3PO's channel and Uniquely Us if you haven't been watching over there already.
Thank you.
Jay, man, fantastic. I had been looking forward to this for over a week since we emailed each other last week, and I think I talked it up every day over the course of the last couple of days. Jay's coming on, because I'm excited. I love what you do over there, and
Appreciate
and
it,
um
man.
it was a long time coming to have you finally get on the show, and very excited to have you here. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing your insights and some of your experiences. That truly was a great conversation that we had tonight.
Oh no, thank you. This is an honor that you opened up your platform to someone like me. So I really appreciate it, and everyone that was in the chat listening, and I really appreciate the love and that you gave me here. So thank you, Frank.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to do it again someday. Uh,
Absolutely.
so
We'll have you on the podcast one of these days, man. Once I get to some scheduling going, so it'd be
yeah,
awesome to
man.
talk to you.
Hey, just get with my agent, man. Just get with my agent.
Yeah, I will. I will.
As we get out of here, guys, I do appreciate everybody coming in. Baby Chewbacca, I know you're not here anymore, but thanks for the donations that you sent. Herculean, thank you for the donation you had sent earlier too. You guys are awesome. Thank you to all the members of the channel. You guys are amazing. Because of you, what you guys donate, it's why I'm able to do what I love here on this platform, and to be able to have great conversations with people like Jay and others. So thank you, everybody in the chat. God bless. Come over to Uniquely Us afterwards, 10:45. Be there, and we could do a little bit of praying. That's always a great thing to do. So never as short. You could never be too much praying. So I hope to see you guys over there.
Never.
And Jay, everybody else, we all have a good night, and we'll see you guys soon.